The cafe was glowing with soft morning sunlight when Liana realized something terrifying was happening. For the first time in years, she was laughing without forcing it. Not the polite smile she wore at parent-teacher meetings, or the tired grin she gave her son at the end of long nights, but a real laugh that came from deep inside her chest. It scared her, because happiness had a way of disappearing the moment she trusted it. Just as she felt herself relax, just as hope dared to breathe again, the man across the table leaned back, his expression shifting into something serious, and her heart sensed the coming storm before her mind could catch up. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment to support the channel Dramex Story. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of human connection, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Liana was a single mother who had learned how to survive on very little sleep, and even less emotional space. Her days began early, always in daylight, with her small apartment filled with the smell of toast and school uniforms drying by the window. She worked at a local accounting firm, juggling deadlines while worrying about whether her son Armin had eaten enough breakfast or remembered his homework. Dating had never been part of her routine. Not because she didn't want love, but because life had taught her that love came with risks she couldn't afford anymore. Still, after years of loneliness, she agreed to one daytime coffee date, telling herself it was harmless and temporary, just a pause from responsibility. The man she met, Rayan, seemed different from what she expected. He listened instead of waiting for his turn to speak. He laughed gently, not loudly, and there was a calm steadiness in him that made the noisy world feel quieter. They talked about work, about morning routines, about how the city felt different when seen in daylight instead of exhaustion. Liana found herself forgetting to check the time, forgetting to calculate the emotional cost of every smile. It felt like standing in the sun after years of living under clouds. But Liana carried invisible weight. She had been judged before, friends who slowly stopped inviting her out, strangers who assumed her life was a series of bad choices, men who vanished the moment they learned she had a child. Each experience had carved a warning into her heart, teaching her to expect rejection before it arrived. So when Rayan's posture changed, when his eyes softened with something serious and heavy, her chest tightened. She braced herself, already preparing to politely leave, already rehearsing how to walk away with dignity. What he shared didn't come like rejection. It came like truth. He revealed that he too was a single parent, raising his daughter alone after loss had reshaped his life. He explained it carefully, not as a confession, but as a boundary, giving her the freedom to step away if she wanted. The words settled between them like fragile glass. Liana felt the old fear rise, but this time it collided with something unexpected, understanding. She saw it suddenly, not as a threat, but as a mirror. The tired mornings, the quiet strength, the way responsibility ages a person faster but also makes them deeper. Rayan wasn't asking her to leave because she wasn't enough. He was offering honesty because he knew what it meant to protect a child's world. And in that moment, Liana realized how rarely adults are given spaces where truth is allowed without punishment. Her thoughts drifted to Arman, to how she hoped one day he would meet people who saw his mother not as baggage, but as a whole person shaped by love and sacrifice. She thought of the loneliness she carried silently, the nights she cried only when her son slept, the fear that her life story made her unlovable. Sitting there in daylight, with coffee growing cold and sunlight warming the table, something inside her shifted. The date didn't end dramatically. It didn't explode into romance or fall apart into heartbreak. It ended with mutual respect and an unspoken understanding that two lives shaped by responsibility could choose gentleness over fear. Liana walked out of the cafe feeling lighter, not because love was guaranteed, but because she had been seen without being judged. Sometimes healing begins not with grand gestures, but with honesty offered kindly. As days passed, Liana noticed changes in herself. She stood taller. She smiled more freely at strangers. She stopped seeing her motherhood as an apology and started seeing it as proof of her strength. Even if nothing more came from that meeting, it had already given her something precious. Permission to believe that love didn't always mean sacrifice, and that second chances could arrive quietly, in daylight, when least expected. Stories like this remind us that the bravest thing adults can do is show up honestly, scars and all. If this story touched your heart or reminded you of your own journey, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who might need hope today, and subscribe to Dramex Story. Your engagement helps us continue sharing meaningful stories. Before the ending, we have a special request for you. Comment below and tell us this: do you believe single parents deserve more understanding and love? Your words might inspire someone reading silently. Liana went home that afternoon to her son's laughter filling the room, sunlight spilling across the floor, and a quiet sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. Love hadn't arrived yet, but something just as important had: hope.